I've talked about PVZ Gardendless before and how quote-unquote controversial it was, though there's honestly another PVZ fan game that I would consider much more controversial at this point. But maybe that's a video for another day. Who knows? It's been a bit since I last made a Gardendless video, and I'm not gonna talk about the controversy in this one. It's old news at this point. I'll be talking about the new content that the game provides. Let's start with the small things. You can unlock 3 new plants in far future for Epic Quests. They're not new original plants, they're ones we've seen before. Pumpkin, Gumnut, and Holly Barrier. The Reinforcement family. They all act the same way as they do in vanilla. They even kept Pumpkin's design, which I'm shocked as they usually don't. Gumnut continues to be super overpowered, which I enjoy. It's one of the only plants that can counter a Gargantuar's attack, so of course I'm gonna love it. On Big Wave Beach, last time I played it, there was an extra level that hadn't done anything. But now, you can unlock a plant on it, and this plant is Ice Bloom. Ice Bloom works almost exactly like she does in PVZ 2. You place Ice Bloom down on the grass, and it'll freeze zombies around a 3x3 area. But when it comes to powerful zombies, they will turn into ice, acting as barriers for zombies like the Fisherman Zombie. I'm honestly glad the Ice Shroom and Ice Bloom can both be in the same game without Ice Shroom being stripped of its original mechanic. It's like how both Gloom Shroom and Gloom Vine both are in this game as well. Its design is obviously pretty different from the original. I actually didn't see how ugly the vanilla version was until I compared both of them. Its doe eyes, little mouth, and prettier fainted colors just makes it a way better design for the Ice Bloom than the previous one, as well as the little details that I enjoy, like the snow on its leaves around its icicles. Gardendless level design is pretty well known to be a little bad, but I gotta say, for these epic quests in particular, at least they weren't so overwhelming or RNG. What made Gardendless' level design so mediocre in the first place was the zombie spam, and I will always stand by the fact that spamming zombies is not what makes a game difficult, it just makes the game unfair and randomized. There are other ways to give the user a challenge. There's still some iffy levels in the epic quests, some slight Gargantuar spam, but you're given instant kill plants in return, so it's a little bit more understandable. But still, sometimes I stare at my screen and wonder, what the heck am I looking at? Where's the strategy in this? It also introduces a different kind of challenge, the time limit, where you have a certain amount of time to beat a level. They also improved on Sea Shooter. Honestly, Sea Shooter in PVZ2 is one of my least favorite plants in the vanilla version. It's so uninspired both design-wise and mechanic-wise. In Gardendless, I do have to admit the Sea Shooter design is mostly the same with how it works. What I didn't like about Sea Shooter in the vanilla version was that it was exactly like 3-peater, but it's in the ocean now. The Sea Shooter in Gardendless isn't much different. So you could say it's almost pointless for him to be in the game, but I'm glad they at least moving out the animations. This is also how I realized that the Tana can actually stand on the ocean in Big Wave Beach. I honestly think Tana deserves so much better as a defense plant, and I'm glad that the Gardendless team added this small detail. They're honestly great at adding little gimmicks like this. It adds a lot of charm. Another little detail I found cute though was that when it's on land, the Sea Shooter will hide into a pod, which isn't in the original game. I still find the design a little uninspired, but there's a little bit more charm to it compared to before. When the Sea Shooter does go into the pod, it will become a normal pea shooter that will shoot just 3 peas ahead. It's not until it's in ocean where it can send its usual aquatic projectiles. This definitely makes it a little different. I do like that. The epic quests themselves weren't that bad. The last level was the most unique personally, where you had to depend on one Sea Shooter and Torchwoods to kill zombies, and a lot of surfer zombies. There are so many. One thing I need to give this game is that it's not afraid to put plants in the game that people might not like or care about, like the Scaredy Shroom or the Sea Shroom as mentioned. Oh, and Crazy Dave seemed to transition in the Sea Shooter's Almanac entry. Congratulations, Crazy Dev. Next up, in terms of extra content, is the addition of Lost City levels. There wasn't much to Lost City before as it was still a work in progress, but now they added the Zomboss. It works exactly like the PVZ2 mobile, which is great. The more updates, the more it really becomes the ideal PVZ2 PC game. Naturally, like some of the other worlds, there's the extended levels. These levels suck. A lot of these extensions are based off the Vanilla's Part 2 levels that were removed because they got a lot of hate. Like I've said, Gardendless level design is pretty infamous for being bad, but that's because these levels are meant to be quote-unquote a little harder. They wanted to amp the difficulty, and the extension for Lost City is one of these set of difficult levels. And yeah, they're awful. Zombies are rushed in, spam, it's a little annoying. The first level, I had to depend on a lot of instinct plans in order to win. It was a good introduction into how unfair this Lost City Part 2 will really be. To give you an idea, let's take a look at day 33. We are just in the process of placing down producer plans. In PVZ, there's always that rest time so you can get yourself ready. Not a thing in this expansion, they send shovel zombies immediately on 3 different lanes. Wow, look at day 34. Zombie spam. We love zombie spam. Let's go. I love spam. I'm being sarcastic, by the way. Or let's look at day 35. Or Gargantua before the first wave. Oh, and you have a 500 sun limit. This is great. I guess it's meant to be a gimmick showcase for the new tile. When it's stepped on by a plant or zombie, thunder will clash on the lawn that can electrocute a zombie. It also introduces a 10 zombie. After day 37, we get the soybean pod, which is actually one of my favorite PVZ2 plants in general, believe it or not. It works almost exactly like it does in vanilla though. The only problem was that it can be fairly useless in the expansion as it's all about zombie spam, and the soybean pod is not a multi-zombie attacker by any means. You can unlock it in the shop, but you can also unlock 2 other plants with gems. They work exactly the same. Even Pyrovine, which I'm surprised, as Pyrovine is known for being a little too overpowered for frostbite caves, as it's a way too easy way to warm up plants without any consequences. I actually like day 38 for some positivity. There's potential there. The level designer for Gardendless, I'm not gonna say his name for the sake of people not harassing him, you never know with this community, he has potential. This level is all about parachute rains, and you have to depend on the umbrella leaf. I'm glad a plant like this still has relevance throughout different levels. There is an epic quest after day 38 where we're introduced to Shinevine. I'm so glad that the Shinevine is in this game. It's one of the best sun producers in International, and with how difficult Gardendless could be, you're gonna need the sun, trust me. There are 7 levels for the epic quest to unlock this set of Shinevine, which is a lot more than the usual, which makes a lot of sense as a Shinevine is a really useful plant. So naturally, there's gonna be more of a challenge to unlock it. These levels are obviously difficult. Most of them are. At least it's not RNG. I'm glad they kept this Shinevine and Magnifying Grass synergy in the game as well. On the 5th level for the epic quest, we also get introduced to Solar Sage. You don't unlock him just yet, but it seems like he's fairly different from the vanilla Solar Sage, as he doesn't cause 0 sun now, which makes sense. Solar Sage was super busted on vanilla mainly because it costed no sun and could instant kill any zombie, which made it a better instant kill plant than like any other one. There's a lot of incorporation in Planturn in these levels as well. Similar to Umbrella Leaf, Planturn has a use in levels in general, kind of. Its aura could give zombies a sunbeam effect, where it can drop very little sun when killed. Though, it's kind of useless, as it's not worth the sun cost and placement when you don't get much out of it. Now the quest is level 7, that's the worst of the worst. There are 6 waves. That is a lot of waves. I know I'm all for long levels, but oh my goodness. I don't even have to say much about this level. I'm gonna show you the beginning just to give you an idea. Look at the zombies that immediately come in seconds after. Oh, and you're limited to 4 plants. I'm all for a challenge, but there's a limit at some point, is there not? I suppose what you're supposed to do is use a Shinevine to stun the zombies so the Citron can have time to not only reload to kill the zombies, but kill the Jester zombies so they can deflect projectiles. Good concept? Very much so. Is it executed well? Not necessarily, in my opinion. I actually missed an epic quest before as it was for a level I beat before the update came out. And it's for a low. I wondered how they would take care of a low in this game, so Heavenly Peach is practically the same plant, so in vanilla, from time to time, Olo would just simply heal whatever plant in front of him on his immediate right once, restoring its health. Though in Gardendless, the Olo consistently heals whatever defense plant in front of it, making it a much more effective healing plant than in vanilla. I love this game in a way gives plants a redemption. They have much more of a use and don't feel so useless anymore. The rest of Lost City's expansion continues to be a little busted. The power of Electric Synergy and Doomshroom come to play. But for the Gardendless level designers, guys, stop swarming him a bunch of zombies in the beginning. How do you expect a player to prepare for that? Day 40, for example, was so annoying. I lost like 5 times. I did not like the Lost City expansion. It's way too overwhelming. But then again, I don't think I like any of the expansion levels. This one in particular, just being straight up awful. But maybe I'm being too negative. Who knows? Let me know in the comments. Now, we have one of the biggest updates on Gardendless so far. Part 3 of the Kongfu world. Believe it or not, although there are already 48 levels, Gardendless is actually planning on doing expansion levels for Kongfu, including these 3 parts. Hopefully the expansive levels aren't as bad design-wise as the Lost City ones were. One problem I noticed that I already mentioned was in the beginning, swarms of zombies, like rocket imps, come in way too quickly. Oh, and they come in fast. So you have to place a plan that can counter them as soon as you can. I know I keep mentioning strategy, but this isn't strategy. This is spam, spam, spam. We unlock Solar Sage at least, which I said before, costs 75 sun now. Honestly, for this world, there are 2 plants that carry during the beginning. Shooting Star Fruit and Snowdrop. Snowdrop can not only extinguish annoying zombies like the Torch Abbot, which instantly destroys plants. Oh, the Abbot zombies in general are just so obnoxious. Like how the Qigong Abort can blast towards plants, or the Abort Imp can enter the middle of your lawn and repel your projectiles. This is where plants like Gloomshroom comes in, to be honest. It's the equivalent to the Jester Zombie. But anyway, the Snowdrop is very useful, as it can freeze zombies as well. On day 38, we're introduced to a completely new and original plant. I love when Gardendless gets a little creative and makes an entirely new plant for the game. The more extra original content, the more it stands out. The Bamboozle. Peak name, by the way. It fires 5 bamboo sticks at most, though it doesn't work by itself. It's an interactive plant, or you have to fire wherever you want it to. These sticks will turn into baskets, dealing a whopping 600 damage as well if it hits directly onto a zombie. So think about it like this. Not only can it deal a lot of damage to an enemy, but these baskets can become a pumpkin for your plants as well, especially the resistant radish. It does even more defense than the pumpkin. The pumpkin has 4,000 toughness, while the bamboozle has 6,000. This game does have its problems, but the plants are not one of them. Day 40 may be the most overwhelming yet. They have the Gargantuar statues, and they're like the most busted zombies known to mankind. Well, now you have a bunch of them in one lawn. They do give you heavy plants though, like the coconut cannon, which carried this level so hard. Though even then, this level was difficult. Naturally so. You're overwhelmed with a lot of zombies, but believe it or not, the Torch Abbot was the worst one, as it kept annihilating my plants so easily. My snow peas barely had any time to register, so I kept losing Coconut Cannon, which was my main weapon for the Gargantuars. The 3-section Stab Abbot though is the worst zombie of all. It can return mostly all your projectiles back and damage plants excessively, but it also does a lot of damage to close range plants. On top of the fan-swinging Abbot zombies that fan out Q-Kong and Storms to boost zombies forward, mad combo, I was honestly cooked. Temporarily at least, because after day 46 we unlocked the Cantaloupe Pote. Costing a high 500 sun cost, it does 100 damage. To compare, both Melon Pote and Winter Melon do 80 damage, meaning that the Cantaloupe Pote does 20 more. It can also not be deflected back. Thank goodness, I've honestly had enough with the Abbot Imps and fan-swinging zombies. It completely carried me on the level before the boss, day 47, where we go against the Bronze of Qigong Gargantuar, which summons other Kongfu zombies or can pull plants ahead. The only thing I don't like with the Cantaloupe Pote, it's really just a personal critique of mine, it's not that big of a deal, is that it looks exactly like Melon Pote, and the only changes are the color and the pattern. I like when plants stand out from others. Kind of ironic because I love the Winter Melon, and it's technically a copy of the Melon Pote, but the color is different at least. On day 48, we fight the Qigong Master. It's actually surprising that there's no Zomboss at all in this world, but I'm not complaining, it sets it apart from the others. With how weird this game could be with its level design, the Qigong Master was actually a really fun boss, with a lot of gimmicks. Its biggest special attack, and most annoying one, is its golden bell shield so it can protect itself, meaning it cannot be damaged at all, not even by instant plants. It can also use an attack that will make all plants in the lawn stationary temporarily, disabling them for some time. Thing is, it doesn't necessarily do anything as the spell breaks a few seconds after zombies are summoned. Maybe he just does it for the aura. He can summon black holes too, so as per usual, the resistant radish carries the entire team. And he has a Kami Kameha attack that can blast most of your plants. Yeah, that's the thing. The boss supplies you with a lot of good plants. Coconut cannons, cantaloupe potes, winter melons, bamboozles, cherry bombs. Yeah, a pretty stacked set of plants. So you definitely don't have to worry about a lack of plants. You also have lawnmowers in this boss for some reason when you typically don't have any for the harder zombie bosses. I could complain about the zombie spam. Well, PVZ 2 boss doesn't have zombie spam at this point. I do like how creative this one is, and like I said, it was very entertaining. Overall, not a horrible world design wise. The plants, amazing. They're not purely counters for whatever zombies are in this said world. The zombies are definitely a little obnoxious, but at least they're not impossible to kill. I think I gave this part a thumbs up in my book. Lastly, we have what I consider the biggest part of what I missed out in Gardendless, the implementation of mints. I feel like PVZ2 fan games are really scared of implementing the mints. The mints can be considered unnecessary or a little too busted. I personally don't hate them, they're all pretty cute, and the idea of plants being separated into classes is a fairly good idea. Better than something like the leveling system at least. Gardendless wasn't afraid to add the mints, but they're not unlocked simply with gems or by unlocking them through levels, they're actually unlocked through the Zen Garden. The Zen Garden used to be a work in progress, but now it seems to be ready. And honestly, they handled it pretty well in this game. You still have unlimited water and plant bags, so I don't think the Zen Garden is fully complete. As you can see, I have an entire army of plants. After 3 days, when you shovel a full-grown plant, you will earn boosts. The boosts work exactly like they do in the original game, but you'll notice this gold sunflower medal in the corner. When you get 3 boosts for 1 plant, you get a plant's medal. The plant medals by themselves don't really do anything. They're kind of just there just because, but if you unlock the 3 boots for each plant in a certain family, you can unlock that family's mint. Right now, you can unlock all of them except Appease, Enlightenment, and Concealment. For some reason. I'm not sure why yet. The mints work pretty much exactly like they do in the international game. A 0 sun cost plant that boosts whatever family they're based on for a limited amount of time. Funny enough though, the Gardendless mints actually stay longer than the ones in international. 16 seconds instead of the 6 to 8 seconds that the international mints have. They're an okay addition. Like I said, I don't despise the mints. I'm glad they're really dedicated to adding every PVZ2 plant. Well, that's all the extra content guys, and I'll see you in the next one.